How you doing? All right, I'm gonna correct the practice assessment so you can see what mistakes you made, so you can study for the test on Monday. Number 1 says the element sodium melts once it reaches a temperature of 98 degrees Celsius. Drag the numbers and symbols into the correct spaces. Melts once it reaches, that means when it hits 98 degrees that it will melt. Of course, when it goes past that temperature, even higher, that it will also continue to melt, or other things will melt. And so that is a greater than or equal to problem. If it's 98 or higher, the sodium melts. So you were supposed to first write this choice X. You're supposed to drag it into this box when X is greater than or equal. This one should be dragged into the next box, 98. That's the inequality that shows which temperatures sodium is melted. Now, to write the numbers that in the specified set that make the inequality true, hopefully it's obvious that 100 is greater than 98, so that would be a correct answer. That would make the inequality true. And 1000 is also greater than 98, so that's the second one that would make the inequality true. And so those two would get dragged in for the answer. All right, ready for number 2, which is on my next page. Number 2 says, Juan had some books in his backpack. Then he returned 4 books to the library. Write a subtraction equation that can be solved to find how many books Juan had in his backpack. If he now has 3 books, use B as your variable, then solve the equation. So some of you didn't use B and got marked wrong. It should be B for how many he had in his backpack. Returning books means he took them out of his backpack to give them to the library, so that would be subtracting 4. And then now he has 3, so the result is that now he just has 3 books in his backpack. So this should be the equation that you write. If you choose to write it backwards, you could put 3 equals B minus 4. That would also be correct. But those are the only 2 possibilities. And when you're typing into the box on the Schoology test, don't use spaces. One of you I know put the B space minus space 4. You can't do that. You have to just type each one, no spaces at all. Now you got to solve it. So on your separate piece of paper for your work, this should be on your paper for your work. You can't do this in the computer. You would show me that you added 4 to both sides to cancel to get B all alone to isolate it. And then of course 3 plus 4 is 7. And then you would just write 7 with no spaces for what B equals. That's number 2. Number 3, Yasmin's age is triple her sister Roxanne's age. Remember I talked about in the other video about what double means. Double means 2 times. I was hoping from that you would realize that triple means 3 times, but there was a couple of you that didn't, so here you go. Now you know triple means 3 times. So Yasmin's age is 3 times Roxanne's age. You got to write a multiplication equation that can be solved to find Roxanne's age. If Yasmin is 12 years old, use R as your variable. So that's another mistake. Some of you just didn't pay attention to the variable I told you had to use. Then solve the equation. Okay, so Yasmin, she's 12. Her age is triple 3 times Roxanne's age. Roxanne's age is R because we don't know how old Roxanne is. So you could write 12 equals 3 times R. That would be a correct answer. Someone wrote that and typed it, and the computer marked it wrong, but don't worry, in the actual test you will get credit for doing something like that. In the test I only gave the one option of writing 3R equals 12, but they are both the same. 12 equals 3R and 3R equals 12 are exactly the same. Just don't put any spaces. Don't put an X for times. You don't need to put a dot. Remember, a number right next to a letter already means multiplication, so you just write 3R equals sign 12. That's it. And then over on your work page, you gotta solve, because remember, you're going to turn in a work page with your test on Monday. There'll be a separate assignment in which you would submit it, because you can't submit it where the actual test is. They're multiplying, so to get rid of the 3, you need to divide. Do the opposite operation. Divide both sides by 3. Remember, you have to use a fraction bar to show dividing. So then these cancel. R is alone. 12 divided by 3 is 4, so R is 4. So back into Schoology, you would write just 4, because the answer is 4. It already says R equals. Okay, number 4. Number 4 says select all equations that have b equals 11 as a solution. If you miss even just one of them, the test is going to mark you wrong. I'll go back and look, and if you have more than half or more of them marked correctly, I'll give you half credit. If you have less than half of them, then you will not get credit. Okay, so first you should just check. B is 11. 4 plus 11, 15. Yes, on your paper you should write 4 plus 11 equals 15. That shows your work for choice A. Right? Choice B says b minus 4 is 6. You put 11 minus 4 equals 6. And then, no, it doesn't. 11 minus 4 is 7. C, 3 times 11. I'm using parentheses. You can use a dot. Don't use the letter X. 3 times 11 equals 311. No, 3 times 11 is 33. And then D, 7 times 11 equals 77. Yes. So these two are the right answers. This is what work you should have on your scratch paper. You would just click into the 2 right answers in the test. If there's 3 right answers, you need to click all 3 of them. On the real test, if all 4 of them are the right answer, you would click on all 4. If there's only 1, you would only click 1. So be careful. Make sure you pick the right ones. Substitute and solve and check. That's what you were supposed to do. All right, here we go. Number 5. Okay, so number 5, you had to select the value from the specified set that makes the equation true. It's 1/3 x equals 4. So over on your scratch paper, 1/3 x equals 4. Remember the last video I showed you 2 methods. You can use whichever method you want. I'm going to do the old one for now, which if they're multiplying by 1/3, I should divide by 1/3. And so what I really need to do is 4 divided by 1/3, 4 over 1 divided by 1/3. But we don't divide fractions, we keep, change, flip, because we multiply by the reciprocal. 4 times 3 is 12, 1 times 1 is 1, but you know 12 divided by 1 is just 12. So the answer is just 12. You can do the multiplying by reciprocal instead of dividing method. If you want to use that method, that's fine. Just show your work on your work page. Okay, so 12 is the right answer. That's the only one that you should click on. There is only one right answer. When there's an equation, there's only one right answer. Okay, number 6. Number 6 says consider the inequality x is greater than -5 and 1/3. Select all options for x below. that would make this inequality true. And so this one, there's really not much work, not any work. You just need to know which numbers are greater than -5 1/3. So remember, if it's negative, all the numbers that are greater than the negative ones are 0, and all the positive numbers. So right away you can see 1 has to be a right answer because it's positive. All positive numbers are greater than negative ones. And then remember on a number line, so you're at the positive 0, then it goes -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So hopefully you know -3 because it's to the right of -5 1/3 on a number line. That is also a right answer. -5 1/3, those are equal. It does not say or equal to, so you can't count that as a true answer. And then of course -7, -10, those are farther to the left on the number line. Those are less, so those are not a right answer. Only -3 and 1. No work, you just have to understand that. Or if you want to show me some work, that'd be great. You can just draw a number line and put 5 and 1/3, and then show that -3 is over here somewhere, and that 1's over here, and that -7's over here, -10's over here. And then just remember that this should be open circle and all the answers should be over here, showing a little graph. You could do that as work for that problem. All right, number 7. Number 7 says graph each inequality, and you have a box that you are supposed to write in, and I know you couldn't make a number line in there, but what you are supposed to do first is write the inequality, and then on your separate piece of paper, that's where you should draw your graphs. And then I will check your work and give you credit. Okay, so Hope has at most $60 in her bank account. At most means that's the greatest. So it can't be more than that. It can be less than or equal to it. So what you should have written for A in the box is, pick any letter you want. I didn't care because I didn't choose it. But I'm going to just put B for bank account. And it has to be less than or equal to 60. And then for B, Ricky will earn more than $60 from his YouTube video. More than, you know, is greater than. So you can write, I'm going to put R for Ricky, greater than 60. And then the third one, C, Diego, I'm going to put D for Diego. You could put a little d or big D, it doesn't matter in these ones. Less than, you know, is this symbol, so less than 60. That's all you had to do to type into the computer on your work page. So I'm going to go over here, pretend over here I'm on my work page. On my work page for A, write A, make a number line, put 60 in the middle, remember, and a couple to the right, a couple to the left, and then it says or equal to. So 60 is one of the answers, so you have to darken in. It has to be a dark dot. If you don't have a dark dot, you're going to get marked wrong. And then it says less than. The numbers that are less than are this way. So your line, arrow, your ray should be pointing in that direction. Then for B, same setup for the number line for B and C. So I'm just going to go ahead and set those up really fast. 60, 61, 62, 60, sorry it's a little messy, I'm trying to go fast, 62, so you don't have to spend too much time watching this video. If you get it already, great. 60 is an open circle, it's greater than, so the arrow should be pointing that direction. This one is less than, open circle, not or equal to, so it has to be open circle, and then arrow that way towards the less than side. And so this is how your work should look on your, but neater, on your work page for number 7. Okay, last one, number 8. Number 8 Sorry, I know this is probably the one that we had the most trouble with, the fractions, and so pay close attention to this one. I'm going to rewrite it like I'm writing on my work page. It is 3/5 x equals 8/15. And so just like the other problem that we did with the 1/3, you could divide both sides with 3/5. Or if you want, if you can remember the other new method, you can multiply by the reciprocal right away. I'm going to go ahead and do it the old way again. You can do it the new way if you want. So these cancel. Okay, but the work I really need to do is 8/15 divided by 3/5, which is keep, change, flip, because you have to multiply by the reciprocal. And now 8 times 5, that's 40. 15 times 3 is 45. I saw someone write this as their answer, but remember, fractions have to be simplified, so you can't leave that as your final answer. 5 goes into both 40 and 45. So you have to show me dividing them both by 5. 40 divided by 5 is 8. 45 divided by 5 is 9. So the answer is 8/9. And so then you go back to the computer right next to the x equals and just put 8 and then that /9 to make your fraction. All right, there you go. I hope this helps. Study, study, study.